The tests are in and they are positive. Breaking news overnight that the president has tested positive for COVID-19. Details coming up.
With the presidential election just a few weeks away, many of you are now taking interest in third-party candidates. We'll show you who's going to be on your ballot when you head to the polls.
I made some whoopie pies, made some cookies.
A 6-year-old is making an impact on his community, raising money for first responders by selling baked goods. I'll introduce you to the boy behind the bake sale.
We are heading into the weekend and there's a little rain in the forecast. I'll let you know when those drops will fall. This is the Morning Report.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon Rose Vasness.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Welcome to the last day of the work week, unless you have to work this weekend. Todd?
Did you do that on purpose?
Oh, are you working?
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
I did.
That was a low blow.
Lucky guess. I don't know.
Yes, this is my Thursday.
Wow.
I'm working for Ryan on Saturday.
Right,
He's got a weekend
Ryan,
off.
he deserves some time.
He does deserve some time
And
off.
Lee, by the way, as you were pointing out yesterday in the newsroom, this is the first time in a while that the three of us have made it through a full
week together
without one of us having a day
I'm already
off,
sick
so.
of you guys.
I don't
Why don't you
remember.
take a day off next week, please?
Okay. Twist that arm.
All right, let's get going here. Friday morning, we got a weekend to look forward to. A little rain in today's forecast. Some fog down east, keeping the temps up. Bar Harbor 58, Calais 57. Rest of the state mostly in the upper 40s and low 50s. No frost out there early on. We have clouds coming in and some light rain too up in the mountains as this storm system starts to get going. It'll move through us pretty quickly, but it will give us some drops this afternoon, not including wind this time. That's important considering all the outages we had earlier this week. Clouding up pretty quickly. If we have any sun, you won't have it long. There's the steady rain for the north through the middle of the day. Not much happening elsewhere until the afternoon. That's when we'll have these little areas of rain work through. So it'll be wet. You probably need an umbrella for a short period, less than a couple of hours. By evening, 5 o'clock, it's tapering off over southern Maine. And by 7 o'clock for eastern Maine, we clear out. We resume sunshine over your weekend. Clouds thicken this morning. Chilly out there, 50. Cloudy with scattered showers midday, 60 degrees. And then any rain out there will taper this evening. It'll be cool, though, with temps in the upper 50s. Your weekend details are coming up at 6:45.
All right, now back to our top story. President Trump and the First Lady have tested positive for COVID-19. They both started isolating yesterday evening after one of the president's top aides tested positive for the coronavirus the day before. The aide, Hope Hicks, was in close contact with the president all this week. According to a memo from the president's physician obtained by NBC News, the president is expected to continue carrying out his presidential duties while he is quarantining and recovering. Now, as the situation develops, there are a lot of questions like, will the scheduled debate still take place? And who else in the White House and beyond needs to be tested? We will keep you updated throughout the day as we continue to learn more, and you can tune into the Today Show at 7 o'clock for even more coverage.
So here's what we know about where President Trump has been this week. On Monday, he held 2 events at the White House, one on the South Lawn, one on the Rose Garden. That Rose Garden event announcing new efforts to distribute millions of coronavirus test kits to different states. Vice President Mike Pence, members of Congress, and state officials were there for that. On Tuesday, President Trump shared a stage with his Democratic rival Joe Biden for their first debate. That was in Cleveland. They were distanced. They did not wear masks. On Wednesday, the president traveled to Minnesota for a fundraiser at a private home in Minneapolis and then an outdoor rally in Duluth. White House aide Hope Hicks was on that trip and started to feel sick on the way home. She did isolate herself aboard Air Force One. Now, yesterday, Hicks tested positive for coronavirus, and President Trump flew to New Jersey for a private fundraiser. Then late last night, President Trump announced that he and the First Lady were tested for COVID-19. Early this morning, we learned of those positive tests. Now, President Trump's tweet confirming that he and Melania both tested positive have already had an effect on the stock market. Future contracts for the S&P 500 and Dow Jones dropped. They both fell by 1.9%. Oil prices also already starting to fall. Employees at Woodland Pulp will continue to be tested for coronavirus today after at least 7 out-of-state contractors have tested positive. The mill is working with Calais Regional Hospital to test all of its 400 employees. Mill officials were notified of the positive cases Tuesday after workers from a New York company were brought in for some routine maintenance to the facility last week. One local worker has since tested positive. Out of 25 people identified as close contacts to the positive cases, 20 have tested negative.
Across the rest of the state, the Maine Centers for Disease Control is reporting 40 new cases of COVID-19. More than 5,400 people have had the virus since the start of the pandemic. One more Mainer has died as well. He was a man in his 50s from York County. 26 people have recovered, 26 more people, and there are now 585 known active cases in the state.
The Maine Department of Health and Human Services is investing $1 million in coronavirus relief funds to help prevent infections at congregate facilities. That funding will support free consultation to places like group homes, assisted living facilities, adult family care homes, and others. Officials say it will include on-site reviews of policies, procedures, and practices, as well as staff support. DHHS Commissioner Jean Lambrou says this will help facilities prepare for new infection control regulations that are scheduled to go into effect early next year.
We have opened up this option to help provide this specific kind of infection prevention, control, and training to these sites, to different organizations. I believe we're ready to go as soon as this week. We really have been aggressive in trying to move out on this, just knowing that, as Dr. Shaw mentioned earlier, we always run the risk of having an uptick in cases and putting people at risk.
Now, the program does not include nursing facilities, which fall under separate state and federal infection prevention and control requirements. Lambrou also added, like all coronavirus relief, the funds will be running out at the end of the year.
All right, here's another important story to keep on your radar if you have any kids headed to college or in college. If you're planning to fill out the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, this fall, university officials are saying do it as fast as you can. Generally speaking, the aid is given out on a first come, first served basis, and colleges are expecting an uptick in applications because of the pandemic. People we spoke to within the University of Maine system and the University of New England say they are already hearing concerns.
Families are experiencing, different special circumstances based on COVID-19, or even not even having anything to do with COVID-19. I would absolutely have them contact the financial aid office that they're interested in attending and have them talk to their financial aid administrator.
The FAFSA application is available right now online.
Good morning, I'm News Center Maine's Sean Stackhouse. Check out the gorgeous sunrise behind me here at Bug Light Park in South Portland. We're not here just for the sunrise, though. This is where Libertarian nominee for President Joe Jorgensen will be appearing later this evening. We'll have those details coming up for you in just a few minutes. But first, let's check in with Todd for one thing we have to know about today's weather.
Boy, that's awesome. Fire sky for the sunrise this morning. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to have much sun. That's about all we're going to see. We've got some rain in the forecast. Looks like this afternoon especially. You'll be getting wet. Bring an umbrella to work. You may need it on the way home. We'll dry out, though, just in time for your weekend. Those details coming up in a few minutes.